And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Gerber versus Holtmeyer. Step forward, please.
27-year-old nurse Lauren Gerber is suing her former friend, nurse's aide Gregory Holtmeyer, for punching her windshield. Gregory claims it never happened.
Ms. Gerber, the defendant was a friend of yours, and it is your claim that he twice damaged your car. You want him to pay for the damage. Mr. Holtmeyer said he never damaged your car. You're just annoyed because he no longer wants to be a friend of yours, and he's moved on to a relationship with somebody, a relationship that he believes you wanted to have with him, but he wasn't interested. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I read your answer. If there's anything that I said there that's wrong, please correct me.
That's close.
I like to be precise.
That was precise.
Don't be annoying, Mr. Holtmeyer. All right, Ms. Gerber, when was the first time he damaged your car?
Was in February of 2002.
Under what circumstances?
He was pulling my vehicle out of the driveway, which was next to my house, and he got a little too close to the house, and it hit the driver's side mirror, which shattered and also scraped the left fender.
And you were in the car at the time?
I was in the passenger seat.
When was the second time he damaged your car?
September of 2003.
Tell me about that.
We had been at my apartment watching a Cowboys-Giants game, and on the way home, punched the inside of the windshield with his fist, which he wears a Dallas ring on, and that's what hit the glass and shattered.
Who was driving?
I was driving.
And what did he say at that time? That was September of 2003.
That he was sorry and go get an estimate. He'd pay whatever the estimate was for it.
Between February 2002 and September of 2003, did you let him drive your car?
On occasion.
How come you stopped being friends?
In October, we had made plans for him to move in with me. His mother had to move to St. Louis, and he had nowhere to stay. The day before he was scheduled to move in, I hadn't heard from him. The day of, I still hadn't heard from him. I went to the house, and it was completely empty. Everything was gone, and that's the last time I'd heard from him.
What made you decide to pursue the 2-year-old broken mirror on your car?
Because in October, he was still saying once he was waiting on an insurance settlement from an accident last March when he got run over by a truck.
Did you fix this mirror on your car?
The mirror I did fix. It was undrivable with it broken.
And how much did it cost to fix the mirror?
It was $140.
And how much is the windshield?
$242.30. I have pictures of that.
I'd like to see it. Let's hear about this side mirror in February of 2002, sir.
I don't know anything about that. When I'd come home from Indiana, I did call her, and I would go over to her house, and we would sometimes drink and watch TV or hang out on the porch and just talk about, at that time she was seeing Lance, a boyfriend of hers. And
I'd like to hear this.
That night, I guess the night she's talking about, I don't remember driving her car home. So that's news to me. If I broke anything or ran into something, I would like to see evidence of that.
No, what she said was that you were pulling out of her driveway.
Impossible.
Why is it impossible?
I'd have to be in the driver's seat.
Yes. You never drove her car?
I drove it on occasion, but not that night.
How do you know?
Because I know.
Well,
I got out on the passenger side and went home.
You're talking about 2 years ago.
Exactly.
You remember 2 years ago?
I remember a lot of things. I got a good memory.
You're a smart aleck.
Maybe. I know if I was driving the car, I wasn't driving the car. I got out of the passenger side and went into my house.
Do you see my mouth moving? When my mouth moves, yours doesn't. What do you do for a living?
Certified nursing aide.
Okay. Do you take care of elderly people?
Yes, I do.
Are you supposed to be kind and understanding when
I am.
you take care of elderly people?
Yes.
And respectful?
Yes.
This is my space. Let's remember that. Have I said anything that was disrespectful to you so far?
Okay.
Have I said anything that was wise-alecky to you?
No.
Do you think you have said things that are disrespectful to me?
Probably.
Is there any particular reason for that, Mr. Holtmeyer?
Just nervous.
Well, sometimes when people are nervous, their palms sweat and they become quiet. So you mean when you're nervous, you become nasty? Is that what you're telling me?
I guess.
Clearly. When you're nervous, you become nasty. I would certainly hope that your employers will be watching this case so that they can ascertain what happens to you when you become under stress. February of 2002 is what you're telling me that you remember the night that she's talking about, and you were not driving the car.
Nope.
And nothing happened that night.
Not to my knowledge. I got out of the passenger side and went home that night. The same with the windshield. I got a call 2 days after the fact, and it said I broke her windshield. And I said, I did what? She said,
maybe you had too much to drink. Mr. Holtmeyer, I also think that the people who allow you to take care of older people should understand that when you have too much to drink, you don't remember things. And that could be a very dangerous thing when you're taking care of people who are infirm. The people who you work for are now on notice that that's, as far as I'm concerned, a real problem that you have. You owe her $382, sir, and that's $140 for her mirror and $242 from breaking her windshield. Both of those things I find that you did. Thank you very much. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $382. That's all.
Why is our excuse? You misstep out.
We've been very good friends for about 7 years. I'd done a lot of things for him, numerous, and just apparently didn't know what kind of a person he was until now.
people perceive the wrong things when I first speak, and they assume.
I feel that he's dishonest, and that pretty much wraps it up. Uses people.
I didn't do it.
Sometimes I'm just too nice and I get taken for granted.
22-year-old restaurant manager Pirapon Pontupo is suing fellow motorist, paralegal April Montañez, for assaulting her during an incident of road rage. April claims Pirapon tried to spray her with mace.
Come to order. All rise. Yes, case number 365 on the calendar in the matter of Pontupo versus Montañez. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Ms. Pontupo, it is your claim that Ms. Montañez assaulted you during a road rage incident.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Montañez said she never touched you. Tell me where and when this happened.
On September 4th, 2004, me and my boyfriend, Michael Cheney, picked up my 16-year-old brother, and we were on our way to lunch.
Stop playing with your papers.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now tell me what happened with the defendant.
I was in the middle lane trying to make a left turn into the shopping center where the restaurant is located on. And then I noticed a truck behind me, a dark blue Ford F-150. Miss Montañez was the driver of the truck, kept honking constantly at me, but I wasn't going to go because I wasn't going to get into a wreck. And then when I finally made the turn, she came really fast right after me, and I thought she was going to hit me. The front of her bumper was like right by my driver's side door, and my window was down at the time, and we exchanged a few profanities.
Who said what first?
I said, "What the?" And she started screaming all kinds of bad words at me. And then she reached into my car, grabbed me by my hair, and I felt a couple of punches, and I felt as if she was trying to pull me out of my car by my hair. My boyfriend saw that, and he said, "What is your F problem?" And then he got out of the car, ran around my car. Then Miss Montañez saw him coming toward her, so she ran back to her truck. And then my boyfriend then made the 911 call with the tech number, which I have the 911 transcript.
May I see it, please? Okay. Now, after she got back into the car, what did she do?
She parked on the front of the coin laundry and took out her laundry basket as if nothing happened and was going to start doing her laundry. And I was really shocked at the time. And then my boyfriend got back in a car, and then I can see the other two passengers in her truck, which is that lady and a man in the late 20s or early 30s in her passenger seat. I can see them trying to motion her back in the truck like it's not safe to be here anymore. And then they drove off, and I was so mad after I realized what happened to me. I start following them into the parking lot. And after I followed them to a quarter mile, my boyfriend is still on the 911 call at this time. He told me, he said, "It's okay, it's okay."
Okay, I got it. Now, Did you seek medical treatment at any time for your injuries?
Yes.
Do you have a doctor's report?
No, I couldn't get in touch with him.
Okay. Tell me the way you felt.
I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't lay on my left side because my head was hurting really bad, and I get the severe headaches.
How long did that last?
I would say a little bit over a week, and I couldn't go to work for a week because of it.
Okay, Miss Montanez, you want to tell me your version of the events, please?
We were on Singleton Road. It was my daughter's birthday that day, and I had to go to the laundromat to pick up some laundry. And there was a lot of cars going by at the moment when I stopped behind her, and I could see down because my truck is up high, and I could see down, and you could hear their music because it was kind of a warm day, and our windows were down. And I saw her talking to some individual, the passenger in the car, but I figured she just got caught up in her music, like all teenagers, and talking. So I honked my horn.
She's not a teenager.
Well, she looked like one at the time, but she was having a conversation. I honked my horn to let her know to go. She got mad. She stuck her hand out the window and did a profanity and called me an F and B. So I turned in before her into the shop.
Just a second. So what you did is you went around her.
Correct.
Keep going.
I pulled in front of her, and then I made the left turn and parked right in front of the laundromat because there's like an island right there where you can park. I got out of the truck. We started arguing, cursing at each other and everything, and my sister got out of the truck, and I was just like, ugh, I don't have time to deal with this, because I thought they were teenagers. So I turned around and was going to go in the laundromat, didn't even make it in the laundromat, and I heard my sister screaming, April, April, come on. And I turned around. When I turned around, I saw her boyfriend with rings in his nose, and just the way he looked, it scared me like a skinhead, and I'm like, oh my God, let's get in the car. So I jump in the truck. When I'm getting in the truck, she has her mace gun. We have a 14-day-old baby in the truck. It was myself, the baby, and then my sister. She's going through the window and she's doing all like this, but for some oddball reason, the mace had stuck. And my sister's rushing to roll the window up in case she did unstick it. And I said, oh my God, Stephanie, let's go. This is crazy. I can't believe this. I put my truck in reverse, and I backed out, and I went back the same way I come in. She come behind me and was following me, and I was going at a fast-paced speed to get away from her because it scared me.
When did you call the police?
I didn't call the police.
Right. You're telling me that someone tried to mace you in your car with a little tiny baby in the car, following you, a lunatic, and you never called the police?
Well, Your Honor, the reason why I didn't call the police is because I saw her boyfriend. When I was coming back to my truck, he was talking to the 911 officer.
Now, why
and he said, write her tag number down.
Why would you think they would call 911, and at the time they called the police, this is what they reported. They didn't know the person, got mad when they were making a turn into PL. She started screaming, went around, got out, and hit the female in the face and pulled her hair while screaming at the female. He didn't say they're having a screaming match. Didn't say anybody took out mace. Said, my girlfriend got punched in the face and got her hair pulled, and we don't know who this person is.
And the reason why I didn't call at the time, Your Honor, I did not have my cell phone. I was just nervous, and I was ready to get out of there.
Very good. Now, what?
I have a police report from this incident, and she told a totally different story.
Can I see the police report, please?
To the police. It's a totally different story.
You want to speak? You want to be very careful about what you say. You're the sister, right? Mm-hmm. You're the reason that they didn't follow up and press charges because you confirmed her story. Is that right? Mm-hmm. I want to tell you something. I'm smarter than the police. So you want to risk it? Get up. We understand each other? That requires an answer, yes or no? Yes. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you choose to stand up and testify, or would you like to remain in your seat?
I like to testify.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Bo says she was assaulted in a parking lot by fellow motorist April Montanez. Pierrepont says April tried to pull her out of her car by her hair.
Your name?
Stephanie.
You have a last name?
Imes.
You want to tell me the story?
It's pretty much what my sister said.
It's pretty much what your sister said?
We were going to Kroger's. She was in front of my sister. It was busy coming traffic. She beeped the horn. They had music.
How many times did she beep the horn?
It was like 2 or 3 times for her to go.
2 or 3 times. Your sister told me she beeped the horn only once.
It was like 2 or 3 times for her to go, like a rapid beep for her to go.
So it was 2 or 3 times, but it was like one time because it was so fast.
Yeah, it's like a rapid beep.
Right. Okay.
So they had the music going. She beeped the horn. She leaned out of the car. She flicked her off and said some stuff, some cuss words. My sister went ahead because no cars were coming. She went in front of the lady. The car came in behind us. We turned to go towards the laundromat. My sister parked next to the little island. The laundromat is right across from the car. My sister got out of the car. They were arguing back and forth, cussing at each other. Then my sister, I kind of stood out to hear what was going on. My sister walked into the laundromat. I got back in the truck.
Did she carry anything into the laundromat?
I think she had...
Just a second. Look at me. Did she carry anything into the laundromat?
Yes.
What did she take out of the car?
It was some outfits, I guess. Yes.
Were the outfits in a basket?
No. No.
No basket?
No.
Just things in her hand? Now, what were you going to the laundromat for?
To pick up some clothes, and I think she had to dry clean the clothes that she had for the party. But at the time that I was waiting for my sister, this female came up to the truck as I got back in. She had some mace in her hand, and she was trying to...
Was that before or after your sister hit her?
She didn't hit her.
Yes, she did. Sit down.
Your Honor.
Yes, she did. Oh, yes, she did. She hit her, and she pulled her hair. And she was really annoyed. You want to know why I know she was really annoyed? Because she had a 2-week-old baby in the car, and instead of sitting there waiting for traffic to move, she sped up around and went around a car that was waiting to make a left turn and pulled out in front of her. That's something that someone does who has no judgment. And they only do it when they're annoyed.
No, ma'am.
I didn't ask you anything. I listened to you. You know, there's an old expression. If it doesn't make sense, it's usually not true. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Because we've all drivers have been in the same situation that you were in. Sometimes you're behind somebody, and for some reason, they don't make a turn when they're supposed to. The arrow is green. They're waiting, they're talking, they're involved in the phone, they're listening, they're daydreaming, and you're looking and you're saying, that's the only shade of green there's going to be, right? Why isn't this person going? If you have a short fuse, you'll honk the horn a few times, and if that's not successful, you'll peel out, which is what you did. You peeled out with a baby in the car, went around her in order to make a left turn because you thought that there was a clear enough avenue of traffic so that you could make the turn. I believe everything that she says. You had a bad hair day.
No, ma'am, I did.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Your sister got you back into the... Listen to me. And your sister got you back into the car because you both saw the boyfriend on the phone with the police. That's what you just told me. A moment ago you said, I didn't have to call the police because I knew they were calling the police. And if you knew they were calling the police, then you stay there and wait for the police. You don't take off. What you just told me was, I didn't call the police because of this mace, thinking fast, because he was calling the police. And if somebody is calling the police, and if you are a victim of a crime, you remain there with the doors locked, windows up, you don't get out to go and take your clothes into the dry cleaners.
Because none of this took place, Your Honor. We just argued. We had our words.
Madam, I don't
She tried to get me...
Madam, I don't believe you. And I don't
Well, can I bring something else to evidence?
Absolutely. Show it to me.
Okay, I have a disposition of a hearing when she tried to file simple battery and simple assault charges, and we went to Gwinnett County courts, and they were dismissed for insufficient evidence as well. Because in the police report, it says that the police officer, there was no physical evidence on the victim other than a few strands of hair that was allegedly pulled out by the suspect.
Listen to me, madam. She's not saying you broke her skin.
But there would have been swelling or something for the officer. This never took place, Your Honor.
I'm telling you, it took place, madam.
It didn't.
Listen, because you got over on a cop, and because you got over perhaps on a district attorney, you and your sister, who wouldn't know the truth if it came up and slapped her in the face, doesn't mean that I have to believe you. Your story doesn't make sense. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. That's all.
Parties are excused and they step out.
I insulted her race. She insulted mine. She told me she was going to get me.
The defendants, it's worse than a piece of dog.
If you would have saw her boyfriend, like 6 foot tall, earrings, a dragon tattoo on his neck.
He's 6'2", but he also weighed as much as she does, which is they both weighed 185 pounds.
I was just in a rush to get out of there because in Atlanta, people have been shot by road rage.
It just says she's a lying.
Provider clerk Lisa Gaviola is suing her former friend, drug and alcohol counselor Rhonda Turner, for damages to a rental car. Rhonda says the car was stolen, so she's not responsible.
Right. Yeah, this is case number 362 on the calendar, the matter of Gaviola versus Turner. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat.
Ms. Gaviola, the defendant was a friend of yours?
Yes.
And the two of you decided to go on a road trip for something, for business? Was it?
We were invited to a music festival in Hollywood.
And where were you coming from?
Sacramento.
You rented a car. And when you got to Hollywood, you loaned the defendant the car.
Correct.
It is your claim that she wrecked the car and you are being held responsible by the rental car company.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Turner says she did not wreck the car. She was using the car. The car was stolen and somebody else wrecked it. So it's not her responsibility. That's your defense.
Yes.
You hesitated. That's what I read. Is that wrong?
No.
Okay. When were you going to the festival?
It was Friday, July 9th. I left from Sacramento around 7.
When did you rent the car?
5:30 that afternoon.
From whom?
Enterprise.
And when you arrived in Hollywood, what did you do with the car?
I lent the car to Rhonda.
Okay. You got the car on the 9th of July?
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened?
Actually, what happened was we drove from Sacramento
Look
to
at me, not the floor.
We drove from Sacramento to Los Angeles, and we
Who did the driving?
The plaintiff.
Go ahead.
And we arrived in Los Angeles, and we went to her boyfriend's house. And from that point, I had taken the car and went home. And we were to meet up the next day.
Went home to where?
To my mom's house, actually, in Los Angeles.
Don't make things up as you're going along, because I'm going to come back to everything that you tell me.
Okay.
And, you know, the only reason you have to have a good memory is if you tell lies. If you tell the truth, you don't need a really good memory, because you can tell the same story over and over again, and it's the truth. Do you understand, Miss Turner?
Yes, I do.
All right. So you dropped her off, you took the car, you went to your mother's house. Is that the last time you saw the car?
No.
When did you use the car again?
The next day when it was time to go to the so-called festival.
Did you go to the festival together?
No, we met there.
And you were driving the car?
Yes.
When you left, did you drive by yourself?
Yes.
Where did you go?
To a family barbecue.
Where?
In Inglewood, California.
And did you drive back to your mother's house?
No, not at that point.
When did you drive back?
I didn't drive back to my mom's house from that point. We were at the barbecue, and that's where the car was stolen from.
When did you find out the car was stolen?
Sometime during the day when I got ready to go, went outside and the car was not there.
What time?
Between 7 and 8.
May I see the police report, please, where you called the police and told them that the car was stolen?
I didn't make a police report.
Why not?
Well, I figured the car wasn't in my name, and I figured I needed to get in touch with the plaintiff so the plaintiff could make the appropriate report on the car.
When did you call her?
I called her that same night.
What time?
Somewhere between 8 and 9.
Is that right?
We received a voicemail message on Jimmy's phone around maybe 10.
Who got the message?
He originally received the message.
Jimmy, what's your last name?
Placencia.
You received the message. What did the message say?
The first message I received from Rhonda was that she left a message saying she had wrecked the car. The car was in an accident.
That's not true.
Shh. That's the first message.
Correct.
And the second message?
We had communicated several times during that evening. I called her back and she left a voicemail. And
did you speak to her when you called back?
Yes, I did.
What did you say to her, and what did she say to you?
I asked her about the vehicle and what had happened, and she had told me that she had gotten into a car accident, and I asked her about the accident. She said that she had hit somebody, and I asked her, did she exchange information, and there was no information exchanged.
And then the story changed?
And then the story had changed, and then she had tried to talk me or talk us into reporting the car that Lisa was originally the driver. She did not want to take responsibility for the accident. And when I started explaining to her that that would not be appropriate, then her story changed. She didn't want to talk, and we hung up, and then we tried to reach her again, and were not able to get in touch with her.
That isn't true. I called them several times during the night. They did not return my phone calls.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
I read your answer very carefully, and you say that the car was stolen. My friends and family searched the neighborhood for the car, and finally a friend called and said that they had found the car, but it was wrecked. Where's the friend?
They're not here.
What's the friend's name?
Adrian.
So Adrian found the car wrecked, came back and told you that. Is that what you're telling me?
Adrian didn't find the car herself. Her boyfriend found the car.
Yes.
I got the call initially from her stating what had happened. That was the next day.
So it's different from what you wrote in your answer.
No, my answer says that we looked for the car after we found out the car was stolen.
Finally, a friend called and said they had found the car and it was wrecked.
That was the next day.
All right. How much is Enterprise charging you for the car?
$3,780.96.
You have a contract with Enterprise?
Yes.
Can I see it, please? Okay. Now, you went into a contract with these people in which you guaranteed to them that there would be no other driver driving this car.
Yes.
You had no right to give her the car to drive.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Because if you had put down her name, which you could do, and her driver's license, they would have said, now you're covered if you accepted insurance. Do you understand?
Yes.
That's why you're being charged this $3,780.
Yes.
So I have to find some sort of a reasonable balance between your wrongdoing and her wrongdoing, because I find, madam, that your story is a crock of baloney. If the car wasn't cared for properly while it was in your possession, you have to accept responsibility for that. You have to accept responsibility. You're not supposed to slough off responsibility. Neither are you. You did the wrong thing. But for the fact that you did the wrong thing, she wouldn't have been in a position to wreck your car that you are now being held responsible for. Do you have a car at home?
Do I have a car?
Yes. Do you have insurance?
Yes.
Well, if you had insurance, the insurance would cover this if you were permitted to drive the car. Do you know that?
Yes. When she rented the car, she called me and said, do I need to get insurance on the car? And I said, yes, it would be the appropriate thing to do.
Your Honor, she had assured me at the time when I had given her keys that she would be extremely careful and that she would be responsible for any damages to the car because she had full coverage insurance.
I don't believe she said that to you. I don't believe she said that to you at all. In any event, I think you're each responsible for half of the damage to this car and half of what you're being charged for. 50%. 50% for doing the wrong thing, 50% for having an accident and not coming clean. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of half, $1,890. That's all. The rest you're responsible for.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm glad that both of us were able to take responsibility of the car.
I'm not going to say that I was liable for the car because I didn't wreck the car.
I'm really just glad that it's over.
I think it was a fair decision.
It's been very challenging.
We got insurance for the car. Had she told the story the way it should have went, she would have been covered.
I really don't want to speak anymore.
If you're going to be honest all the way.
We're no longer friends.
Don't tell half truths.
I think it's about being selective of the people that are in your life.
Cheryl Wind is suing the father of her child, 28-year-old business owner Arthur Harris Jr., for a loan for bail and for throwing a brick through her car window.
Come to order, all rise. Now, this is case number 381 on the calendar in the matter of Wind versus Harris Jr. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Wind, you and the defendant have a child together. You are no longer a couple, but it is your claim that while you were a couple, Mr. Harris found himself in the unfortunate position of being incarcerated. You bailed him out with a promise that he would pay you back. He paid some back, the bail money, but he still owes you some of that money. He stopped paying you as soon as you separated. And then you claim that he has not been able to handle the separation appropriately and has vandalized your car on 2 occasions. You want him to pay for the windows. and the damage to the car. Mr. Harris, while he acknowledges that you did in fact bail him out of prison, you told him that it was a gift, that he need not pay you back, and that he has no clue as to what you're talking about with regard to the vandalizing of your cars, and the police lacked sufficient evidence to charge him, therefore he is not guilty. Is that right, Mr. Harris?
Somewhat, to a certain extent.
So, a couple of questions for you. When was your child born?
December 9th, 2001.
Boy or a girl?
A girl.
Do you visit with the child?
I have 57% custody over her 43%.
Okay. So she spends a great deal of time with you.
Correct. I think she's just jealous of me and my daughter's bond because...
Listen to me. Not Montel. Not interested in what she's jealous about. Do you understand, Mr. Harris?
Yeah.
Not yeah. Yes. Court. Therapist. I am not a therapist. I don't like people well enough to be a therapist. So you have your daughter 57% of the time.
And I recently had to call CPS on Miss Wynn because my daughter comes up with marks on her eyes last week.
You're not listening to me. You think that anybody's listening to you? I'm not listening to a word you're saying. When I start to speak, you stop. We understand that?
See.
Now, what were you incarcerated for that required you being bailed out of jail, Mr. Harris?
I was driving Mrs. Wynn's car, and I got pulled over. And in Mrs. Wynn's car, they found some drugs. But later, it was a misunderstanding. They had to dismiss the case.
Mr. Harris, you want me to believe you, don't you?
You can look in the court documents.
No, you want me to believe you, don't you? I asked you what you were incarcerated for.
And I told you.
The answer is drugs.
Correct.
Okay. Now, is this the first time you were arrested for drugs?
No, in my prior days, I used to get down
The answer is no.
I used to get down like Jay-Z.
Just the answer is no. You don't want to appear foolish. Mr. Harris, I can guarantee you, sir, don't be a smart aleck with me because I can make you look very, very foolish. I just want to be reasonable and fair with you. I've read the documents you gave me. I've listened to you. Why don't you just try to help yourself by not being a wise guy? Try to help yourself if you can. I don't find you attractive.
Ditto to you.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. Then why don't you just view me as somebody who has the limited responsibility today, Mr. Harris, of making a decision based on the evidence as to whether you owe her for bail money and whether you vandalized her car.
My daughter has nothing to do with that.
Right now, Mr. Harris.
My daughter's totally irrelevant.
Your daughter in this particular court. In this particular court, your daughter's situation is irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant here, Mr. Harris, are two things. Whether you owe her for bail and whether you vandalized her cars.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct.
Good. Now, how much was your bail?
30, I don't know. You have to ask her if she did it.
How much was his bail?
Well, see, I went to court for him.
How much was his bail?
$75,000.
And how much did you post?
First, we posted 23, and then I posted personally 3,200.
All I want to know is you personally.
3,200.
You have proof of that?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it, please. Now tell me how it came about that you posted this bail back in December of 2002.
In December of 2002, he had to go back to court for a bail hearing where they brought it back up because they had reduced it to like 3,500. They brought it back up to 75,000, excuse me. And I wasn't there. But his lawyer called me at home and told me that the bail was raised and that he was incarcerated again and that I would have to be the one to get him out.
Do you recall what the charge was in December of 2002?
It was because of his priors, that they had overlooked that when the first time he went to court for the bail reduction hearing. So they overlooked that, so they brought it back into court in December, and that was around the holidays, and my daughter was around 1 then. So I bailed him out with my credit card. His lawyer even picked me up from my house and brought me to the bail bondsman where I used my credit card and bailed him out. And then he brought me to the car that he was driving that day when he went to court, and I took the car home and everything.
Okay. Now, you see, Mr. Harris, one of the things that I have to determine when I finish this bail portion of the case is whether or not you have a violent nature, whether you can control yourself, or whether there is truth to the allegation that you vandalized her car. Right now, what you're doing is suggesting to me that you lack the capacity to control yourself. So far, I don't hear, madam, that you made an arrangement with Mr. Harris for this bail to be a loan.
Okay, I have even though it was always understood that he was going to pay me back.
It may have been understood. Understood isn't a contract.
Okay, yeah.
Understood means that you understood it. But when his lawyer called you, his lawyer cannot make a contract with you.
His lawyer?
Only he can make a contract with
did.
you. Well, then let me hear.
Here's a tape record. I recorded one of our conversations.
Where's the money you owe me? Where's the money you owe me for your bail bond?
I'm gonna pretty much need it because you're gonna throw me in jail. I might as well keep it, right?
You know what? You told me you would pay me for your stinking bail bond.
Cheryl, I know you for a fact, and that's not you, man.
You know what? You told me you would pay me back.
I will pay you back, and I told you that.
I'm not gonna pay for your bail bond. I'm never gonna pay for your again. I paid for your for 2 years.
I didn't say that. Did I say that, baby? Listen to me.
No.
Is there anything else there about the bail? Okay. How much did he pay you back?
He's paid me about $700 since.
How has he paid it? In check, cash?
Yeah, usually he'll give me like a money order. He would give me
Show
money
me.
once in a while.
Show me.
Like money orders? He would keep the receipts.
How much money did you give her back? She
I
says
never,
$700.
I never gave her no money for bail because I never had a control over her bailing me out. I never asked her to bail me out.
So that your statement is, Mr. Harris, that you never gave her any money back. She says you gave her $700
No,
back.
I never gave her no money for that. You're correct. She told me it was a gift for being a great father.
Just
and I
answer
can
my
do nothing
question,
about
Mr.
that.
Harris. Don't you understand? My mouth is moving again. So what you're saying is you gave her back no money towards the $3,200 in bail. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Good. Good. Then you owe her $3,200 because that's what you said. That's what you said on the tape, that you owed her for the bail. Now, let's get to the damage to the car. Your car was damaged on 2 separate occasions.
Right.
Give me the dates.
May 18th and September 1st of 2004.
How was the car damaged on May 18th, 2004?
I have a picture here to show you. The driver's side mirror was broke off. The windshield was shattered. There was multiple dents in the car, on top of the car by the sunroof, on both doors on the driver's side.
Yes.
I found a big heart-shaped rock right next to the car.
Okay. Now, what proof do you have that Mr. Harris did this damage?
Oh, I saw him. We saw him. It was over at, we were at a family friend's house. And after I noticed that it happened, my sister was with me. She saw it, and she ran back into the house. And then they all came outside. And while I was standing there looking at the car, he came by in our Lexus. And he
So you didn't see him do it?
Yes.
So you didn't see him?
By.
Listen to me. So you didn't see him do it?
I didn't see him. I saw him come down the street with his lights off and come down and come back around, and he rolled his window down and threw something else at me while I was out there with all my friends.
So you didn't see him do this. Now, on September 1st, how was your car damaged?
There was a big hole in the back window of my mom's car. The rock was inside, and there was like a cigarette butt, not the butt, but the regular end, and it reeked of gasoline. I wasn't there when it happened, but the people that did see it happen.
Where were you at?
Mr. Harris.
Where were you
Harris.
at, Miss Wynn? Tell them where
Mr.
you
Harris.
at.
The people that...
Mr. Harris, just a second.
Yes.
Mr. Harris, how old are you,
You should know where I was at.
I'm 28.
Where are your parents?
My parents?
Yeah, your
They're
mother.
probably at their home.
You have a mother who's alive?
Yes, ma'am. Father,
Where does
too.
she live? I'm speaking. Where does she live?
That's personal. I don't want to tell that on camera.
In what state does she live?
That's personal, too. I don't want to put that on camera.
Fine. Listen to me, Mr. Harris. There is a very strong probability, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Bird, would you go over and take those papers away from him? Because I'm talking to him.
Well, I'm looking for this paper. There you go.
Thanks.
You're welcome, boss.
There's a very strong probability that even though you don't wish to divulge and I don't wish to press it where your parents live, that they're going to be watching you. I feel sorry for them because you're acting like such a fool, sir. I really do. The only thing that I can say in your favor is I've read the report, and the report seems to indicate that you're trying to be a good father to your daughter, which suggests to me that at least part of you is a salvageable human being. But you are such a wise guy, and you're so used to getting over, and you're so used to acting like a fool that you can't even control yourself in court, which is probably one of the reasons why you're in court and in trouble so often.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today, he claims ex-boyfriend Arthur Harris Jr. owes for bail money after he was arrested for the possession of drugs. Cheryl also claims Arthur vandalized her car on 2 separate occasions.
I don't have to, Ms. Wynn, go into the 2 incidents with the car. There is probably very little issue that he was responsible for the damage to your car. But you are suing him, and the total amount that you are suing him for is $3,100. Now, you claim the bail was $3,200, which is supported by the evidence, but you say that he paid you back $700. Mr. Harris, because he's such a wise guy, has sworn under oath that he paid you back nothing. I don't think that you are responsible for his bail, and I don't think that even at that time you were dumb enough to say, I'm posting your bail because you're such a great father. Be that as it may, I have a tape that I believe where he said that he owes you this money. And since he swore under oath that he didn't pay you back the $700, even though you say he did, I'm entering a judgment in your favor for exactly what you are requesting, which is $3,100, which more than covers the damage to your cars. Do we understand each other?
Yes, we do.
And maybe Mr. Harris will learn that it's not always a good idea to be a wise guy, especially in court. That's all. Step out. Thank you.
You are excused. You may step out.
Goodbye, Miss Wynn. She's mad because for 2 years, I took her money. I took all of her money for 2 years and bought 3 homes with it.
I'm family, take care of the baby, take care of the house, go to school, make money.
Then when I got tired of her, I dumped her on her butt.
And then he just does whatever he wants.
I'm in jail. I can't make her call me.
He can't even talk to me like a real person. He has to always talk down on me.
So if she wants to bail me out, she's just doing her job. She's what she's trained to do.
That's why he's having such a hard time letting me go.
She's really crazy, so it ain't nothing.
I pray to God that he grows up for the sake of our child.
Former service rep Cindy Blankenship is suing her ex-boyfriend, contractor Robert DiFrancesco, for rent and for trying to strangle her. Cindy claims the assault took place at the end of their month-long drug binge.
This is case number 374 on the calendar in the matter of Blankenship versus DiFrancesco. Has been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Ms. Blankenship, according to what I read, you and the defendant met at a bar, and he came home with you the same evening and stayed for a while. And according to your complaint, you had an agreement with him that he was going to pay you rent.
Yes, Your Honor.
And he stayed with you, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. He didn't pay any rent. And then you got into some sort of an altercation with him and claimed that he assaulted you.
Yes.
Mr. DiFrancesco says there was never an agreement to pay you rent, that he spent 5 months in jail because you made false charges of assault against him. He was ultimately released, and you want a certain amount of money for rent and $1,500 for this alleged assault.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay. On what day did you meet Mr. DiFrancesco?
It was the beginning of May.
In the evening?
Yes.
And you met him for the first time?
Yes, I did.
And he came home with you?
Yeah, we ended up going to my house. We were going to have a drink at my house. 3 days later, he's still at my home.
Okay, 3 days later, did you say? Well, 3 days later, I assume you let him stay. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, tell me about this agreement that you allege about rent.
Well, as I said, 3 days later, he's still at my house. He informed me that he didn't have any place to go. He had just gotten out of jail, which I wish I had known that, or else if I had, I wouldn't have let him come to my home. Told me he had nowhere to go, and we had both decided, let's try a fast, instant relationship, see what happens. Told him he wasn't going to live with me for nothing. He said he was a hard worker. He had no problem paying me $125 a week. The 30 days that he was with me, he worked maybe 2 days. All of his money went on cocaine. So that's what basically he felt that he was going to be doing at my house. And towards the end of it, I said I had enough.
Now, towards the end of it, I had enough is what I want to hear about, the night of this alleged assault. I'd like you to tell me in your own words what happened, Miss Blankenship.
We had been drinking at my house that day.
You do a lot of drinking?
Yeah, we had been out.
And he does a lot of drinking?
Yeah.
Do you also do drugs, or you just drink?
I didn't skip back into drugs until I hooked up with Bobby.
So then the answer is for the 30 days that you were together in your house, you were both drinking and doing drugs?
Yes.
And I assume he was purchasing the drugs?
No, I was. He didn't have any money.
Okay, so you were purchasing the drugs and giving it to him?
Basically, we were doing them together.
No. If you bought them and gave them to him. Is that what you're telling me? Oh. So tell me about the last night that you were together, the night of this alleged assault.
We had been out at one of the local bars drinking. We got it, I believe it was a 12-pack, went back to my house. When that was all done, we went back out drinking. I suggested that we get something to eat. I was going to get Chinese food. He said, fine, went home. I was getting the food ready, putting it on plates and everything. I turned around. Bobby's leaning up against the counter with his pants down to the floor, offering me something other to eat than the Chinese food.
And?
I was quite appalled by this whole thought at the moment. I went into the living room. I sat down. I figured I'd try and calm down for a few minutes. I went into the kitchen. He's now eating the Chinese food.
By this time, he's dressed himself.
Yeah.
And he's eating the Chinese food.
Yes.
And what happened?
I asked him if he wanted some rice with the food, and I threw a box of beef fried rice at him.
So you assaulted him with the rice?
No, I threw the rice at the floor.
No, your hand motion was...
Well, I threw the rice, but it wasn't at him physically, it was at the floor.
Well, that's not what you say in your complaint, by the way. You say that you started to throw the Chinese food at him.
In his direction.
In his direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what happened after you were throwing the Chinese food in his direction?
Well, I ended up asking him if he needed some sweet sauce with it. After that, we ended up getting into an argument. It boiled down to I was sitting at a chair at the kitchen table trying to figure out what we were going to do with this relationship. We got into an argument. He lunged over the kitchen table, grabbed me by the throat, and started to strangle me.
Miss Blankenship, you left something out, madam, that you put in your complaint. And that was that there was a time that Mr. DeFrancesco just said, I want to get out of here. And that was before you started with the food fight.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to go to the door to leave and get his clothes and leave. And you say in your complaint that you prevented him from leaving.
I, for whatever stupid reasons, didn't want him to take his clothes at the time. I felt that he owed me money for being there, and I figured that we'd straighten it out at some other time.
So you blocked the door?
I blocked the door.
And it was after you blocked the door that he lunged at you?
Shortly after that.
Now, you called the police and had him arrested.
When I could get to a phone, I called the police. He ripped the phones out of the wall.
Now, when did you finally get to the police?
After I got his hands off my throat.
Okay. So he took his hands off your throat, you called the police, and I assume you let him leave at that point.
I didn't let him leave. He went running out the door. This is after he pulled the alarm system out of the wall. I tried calling 911 from 2 telephones. He kept pulling the phones out of my hand, pressing the off
button. At that point,
so
I assume, Miss Blankenship, that you were ready to let him leave.
Yeah.
Now, what hospital did you go to?
I didn't.
So if you didn't go to a hospital, I assume you weren't injured.
I was injured, but there wasn't anything that I felt that they could do to me
How
that
were
was
you
going to
injured?
make the marks go away.
How were you injured?
By him strangling me. I had marks on my arm, on my face.
Did you take any
I
photographs
have
of
the
it?
police report and pictures.
I'd like to see.
Plus, I didn't go right to the hospital, or I didn't go to the hospital because the police wanted me to go to the police station. I was down there for about 3-4 hours.
I noticed that in your statement to the police, you didn't tell the police that Mr. DeFrancesco wanted to leave, or that the mess that they observed in the kitchen of the Chinese food all over the place was the result of you throwing it all over the place. How come you didn't tell them that?
Oh, I don't recall whether I did or didn't.
You
Your
didn't.
Honor.
Trust me, you didn't.
Well, regardless of that, he has no right to try to strangle me.
You had no right to try to keep him in the house.
Oh, I didn't physically block his entrance from
That's
leaving.
what you
the
said.
door
That's
was
exactly.
right there.
That's exactly what you said.
I stopped him from getting his clothing, not from walking
No,
out
that's
the door.
not what you said, madam. You said, when I returned, I was still so angry that I started to throw food at him. He was going to get his stuff and leave, but I was too angry to let him leave with his clothes. I blocked the door.
I blocked the door from him getting his clothes in the bedroom.
So why didn't you let him get his clothes? You were both too drunk.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Cindy Blankenship says ex-boyfriend Robert DeFrancesco owes for strangling her. Robert says Cindy threw Chinese food at him.
Madam, he'd been drinking, according to you, for days. Drinking and doing drugs for days. All right, I'm prepared to hear you, Mr. DeFrancesco.
Your Honor, I first met Cindy. She's right. I did.
I
get out
heard
of jail.
that how you met her. You met her at a bar. You went home with her and you stayed too long.
No, I went home with her, and that night I left. At 5 in the morning, some other gentleman called and I had to leave. And she brought me to my brother's house, And then the next day, I went to see her. We did some gardening work, whatever. And
Could you look at me instead of looking over there?
I'm sorry. Off and on, we stayed together for about 3 weeks. I'd see her for a few days. It would be okay. Then she'd start yelling at me for stupid little things, and it would get all crazy. And I'd say, I'm going to leave. So one time she called the police, and I'd already left. So
he was trying to run my household.
Could you look at me when you're speaking, sir?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Your Honor. When the cops came, they just came because she just wanted me to leave, and I'd already left. So I told her, I said, I'm on probation and stuff like that. I can't have any problems with the police, so I don't think this is going to work out. So to make a long story short, we'd gone back and forth.
You're still looking over there.
Back and forth, and then another time the police came to get me. The same thing. I just left. I had my bag of clothes. It was raining out. I left.
You shouldn't be drinking with her, sir. But the problem is you're two drunks living together.
Well, Your Honor, the day in question of the day that I got arrested, I was working all day. I was working all day. She was at the bar. She was supposed to be going to get her motorcycle license or whatever, but it got done early. She came home. So then I got upset with her. I'd already told her a few times, if this continues, we're not going to stay together. I can't handle this. You're too abusive.
She assaulted me.
Your Honor, she assaulted me on other occasions. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. I don't hit women. She was hitting me.
Mr. DeFrancesco, how come you spent 5 months in jail? Were you on probation or parole?
I was on probation, but I was charged with assault with intent to murder, and intimidating a witness. Okay. That's what I was charged with.
Okay. And those charges were ultimately tossed.
They were dropped because she pled the fifth, because she didn't want to perjure herself.
Well, for whatever reason, they should have been dropped a long time ago. What had you just been released from jail for?
Assault and battery, malicious damage. I got into a big fight at a bar. I did like 2 years.
Mr. DeFrancesco, may I suggest to you, sir, that you are not a good drunk? Do you understand? You're not a good drunk. And if you're going to continue to drink, I wouldn't take up with somebody who is also a bad drunk. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. How old are you, sir?
I'm 42 years old.
You look every day of it, Mr. DeFrancesco. You're getting old before your time, sir.
Well, Your Honor, I did try to leave. That's why I feel it's bogus.
Mr. Blankenship, you don't have a case. He didn't try to murder you. You were two drunks
having... He didn't try to murder me,
Listen
Your Honor. Why did they charge him with attempted murder from the marks all over me?
Listen to
why
me.
did I call 911?
I'm telling you why you called 911, because he finally got fed up with you, and he probably did try to choke you. That's why. That's not attempted murder, just like you throwing Chinese food at him is not assault. You want to drink and do drugs with somebody who also drinks and does drugs? That's what happens. What are you bothering me for? Goodbye.
What is our excuse? You may step out.
I tried to get out of the relationship, and it just ended up being violent.
It's obviously started a different way from him dropping his drawers to the floor and so on, making any type of sexual advances that he wanted to happen. So, it's insane.
Those are personal issues. That's stuff that normal people do, It's just that it just got carried away.
Him and I being together, drinking, not knowing what kind of relationship we were going to get into. So I wish it had never started from the beginning.
Of course, if you drink and drug, it's going to cause problems, But what she stated, that just shows that's one of her traits, you know what I mean? She just talks crazy.
Case number 3035, Zackerson versus Farber. All parties, please come forward.
Sarabelle Zackerson is suing dog groomer Tracy Farber for negligence after losing her dog, Benji.
Miss Zackerson, you're a dog lover.
Yes.
And for years you had 5 dogs or 4?
5.
What kind did you have?
I have a Maltese poodle, I have a cabin poodle, I have a poodle, Shih Tzu, and some dog I found in the street. I don't know what kind it is, but yeah.
Small dogs?
Yes, small. They don't weigh more than 15 pounds.
And for a very long time, Miss Farber has groomed your dogs.
That's correct, just under.
How many years has she groomed your dog?
I can't exact the time, but it's going to be almost 10 years.
And you usually bring the dogs to her how often?
I never bring my dog to her house, always to their shop. She used to have a business shop they call TLC Grooming, and that's where I bring my dogs over.
When did that change?
December the 1st, I texted her and say, I'm going to bring my dogs tomorrow, 6 of my babies, to the shop. And then she said, oh, I was about to text you. I'm going to close the shop for good. And I said, oh, wow, what happened? She said, well, I had to take care of my husband. He's kind of sick with her heart failure stuff. So I don't want to be away from him. So you can bring them to my house and I can groom them. So, and I said, well, I want to send my brother over
So
there.
you were sending 6 dogs?
6. That day I sent 6.
And you decided to have your brother bring them to the house?
That's correct.
And that was on December 2nd?
That was December the 2nd.
Okay, and how long did the dogs usually stay there? For the day?
Say to end of the day, because they're 5.
So 1 full day?
Yeah.
How much do you pay her for the 6 dogs?
Depend what you do, because some of them go every week, some of them once a month, some of them twice a month.
How much did you charge for each dog?
If you go once a month, 50. If you go twice, 25.
I see. So there's less work if you maintain the grooming.
That's correct.
Got it. So on December 2nd, who brought the dogs to her house?
My brother.
Is that this
That's
man
correct.
here? Yeah. Okay. Could you step up, please, and tell me your name?
My name is Bishop Bean, and my sister's brother.
You brought the 6 dogs to the defendant's home?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me how you brought them into her house.
I brought them up to her and just gave it to her by the sliding door.
How?
Just one by one.
So you handed them to her individually, unleashed?
Yeah, by holding them on
and you just handed them to her?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you pull up in the car?
In the driveway.
You brought them into the door, or she came out?
I brought it to her.
Okay. Did you also pick the dogs up?
I picked 4 of them, but one was missing.
So only 5 were sent that day. When you went to pick up the dogs, you only saw 4, or did you see 1 and 1 ran away?
When I went to pick up the dog, I only realized that there were 4 and 1 was missing, and when I went to ask.
Where did you go? Did you go inside her house?
I didn't go inside the house.
Well,
I picked it up on the side of the driveway.
How?
They opened the door of the driveway. It's a big sliding door that they have that can open just a little bit, that they can hand me the dog.
She handed you the dogs?
Not her, but the son.
Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, stand up next to your mother. Okay, tell me your name.
Nicholas?
Nicholas, when the plaintiff's brother came to pick up the dogs,
Yes, ma'am.
how many dogs did you give him?
I gave him 4 and asked my coworker to bring out the other one.
You help your mother with grooming?
Not with grooming, but in the mornings I go to a park, pick up dogs that we had scheduled, and then bring them back. Later in the evening, I take them back to the park.
Okay, so you asked a coworker to go get the 5th dog, which was where? In a cage?
That's what we believed, yes.
What do you mean that's what you believe? You say that you were forced to drain the pool because they thought that maybe the dog fell into the pool. I don't care. I don't care if you have to drain your whole house.
Sarah Bell Zachrinson claims dog groomer Tracy Farver lost her dog Benji while in her care. Tracy is countersuing for the cost of draining her pool.
Okay, so you only turned over 4 dogs
Yes, ma'am.
to the plaintiff,
Yes, ma'am.
plaintiff's brother, and you don't know what happened to the 5th dog,
No, ma'am.
personally,
Personally, no.
and you never saw the 5th dog on the 2nd.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know what happened to the 5th dog?
Yes, ma'am. The 5th dog was released to him. He had dogs in the vehicle and came back to ask me.
Just a second. Were you there?
Well, I was in the salon after the dogs had already been given to him.
Your son only gave him 4 dogs.
But he was not the only one involved in giving the dogs back.
Then you should have brought that person because you weren't there. You should have brought that person because you weren't there.
Should have.
Well, your son says he only turned over 4 dogs. He asked his colleague to bring out the other one. The other one wasn't there. Am I getting that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, so just don't talk to him. He's talking to me. You can have a seat now. Okay. So, Ms. Farver, bottom line is, you can sit down now.
Thank you, ma'am.
The plaintiff's brother, at her direction, brought you 5 dogs. Only 4 were returned to her, so 1 was missing in action on your watch. 1 dog. That's clear. Now, she's suing for the negligence. She doesn't know what happened to that dog. You have a counterclaim that's sort of ridiculous.
Well, I have proof that she says that she lost her dog there.
Just a second.
He misunderstood.
Just a second.
And when he counted, he said that Benji ran out with them, but he said that Benji runs away all the time.
Let me explain something. Let me explain something to you. Your witness that you brought with you today said he only turned over 4 dogs to the plaintiff's agent.
But he wasn't the only one that turned over dogs, and then he leaves that situation to go deal with another situation.
Deal with me, and I've said to you, then you didn't bring the second witness because you weren't there. You didn't bring the second witness to say, I did in fact turn over the dog to him. Did she, just a second, did you on December 2nd ever see that dog?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so you're responsible for that dog. Now, the dog was how old?
14 years old.
And what was the breed of that dog?
Maltese Poodle.
When you found out that that dog was missing, I gather you all went back and tried to find it.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
That you all went back to try to find it, and you couldn't locate on your property. How much property do you have, by the way? How many acres property do you have?
It's about 1.5 acres. Do you want to see pictures? It's all...
No. I don't have to see pictures. The dog was missing. That's your problem. That's your problem. The dog was missing under your watch. So there's a question of damages because she's entitled to a certain amount of damage for the loss of her dog. Unfortunately, we talk about replacement value. You know, how much is a multi-poo to replace? I don't know. Could you look up, Sarah, the cost? Give me a general price of the cost of a multi-poo. They're cute.
Just on an initial search, so it looks like $2,000 to $3,000 when purchased from a breeder, but can go up to $4,000 for certain colors and reputation.
Okay. So we talk about replacement value. Replacement value is about $2,000. The dog was 14 years old. I'm not even factoring this in. You had that dog for 14 years?
Yes.
Okay. You're entitled to that. This is what your counterclaim is. Your counterclaim is ridiculous, and I'm dismissing it. You say that you were forced to drain the pool because they thought that maybe the dog fell into the pool, and it cost you $2,800 to drain the pool. I don't care. I don't care if you have to drain your whole house. Your counterclaim's dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
Well, I mean, I'm happy for Sarah Bell. You know that she feels like her grief was compensated.
When she lost my dog, she never told me.
You know, he was a known runaway and didn't have any identification and wasn't chipped.
You lose my dog. It's belonged like my son, you know, my kid. For 14 years old, it's meant a lot to me.
I wish that we would all, I've always wished we'd find him.
I miss Benji a lot.
So I have a little issue with the concept, legally overarching, of the replacement value of things, dogs, even loved ones sometimes in wrongful death suits, because it doesn't get to the heart of what you actually lost. So yes, on a brief Google search, I could find a multi-poo puppy for, say, $2,500, but does that really make up for the 14 years that the plaintiff had with her original dog that the defendant lost in her care? I felt inclined, like I wanted to give her more for that pain and suffering of loss, but that's not what the law gives us as a remedy.
First, she didn't sue for that, but as a dog lover, I can tell you how excruciatingly painful it would be for me to bring Joey to a groomer and come back and they say, I'm sorry, we don't have her. I remember taking a dog many years ago to a groomer, and when I brought her back, she had a cut underneath on her belly. I wanted to go and commit a murder because the groomer hadn't told me about it, but for the fact that I saw drops of blood on my carpet, I wouldn't have seen it. So, you know, as a dog lover, and clearly this plaintiff was a dog lover because she methodically had them all groomed.
She was talking about twice a month on occasion.
Twice a month, sometimes once a week. She clearly loved her animals and was careful with them. If she had this dog for 14 years, that's a pretty full lifespan for a dog. But very traumatic. You know, you bring 5 babies in and you only get 4 back. I'm sure it wasn't purposeful on the defendant's part because she had been a great groomer and the plaintiff liked her. But she's responsible for the replacement.
I agree.
Vậy là mình đã tô xong bức tranh một người phụ nữ đang chống tay lên một chậu hoa rất là to. Và đây là thành quả của chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào những video tiếp theo. Hi, xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta hãy cùng tô màu bức tranh một người phụ nữ đứng dựa vào một chậu cây rất là to nhé. Đầu tiên mình sẽ tô tóc màu nâu. mà em rời xa vòng tay của riêng anh, chạy theo cơn mơ, chạy theo hạnh phúc ở nơi nào, có mỗi anh nơi này nâng niu những thương ngày. Nghe tròn dâu mà niềm vui ở trong anh, tự nhiên niềm đau tháng tháng trăng màng nói sự vỡ. Vậy là mình đã tô xong bức tranh một người phụ nữ đang ngồi ăn ở ngoài trời. Và đây là thành quả của chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào những video tiếp theo. Hi, xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta hãy cùng tô màu bức tranh về một cô gái đang ngồi ăn bên phố nhé. Bên tóc mình sẽ tô màu nâu. Cục mình sẽ tô màu vàng. Này mình sẽ lấy màu xanh nước biển. Khi mà em rời xa vòng tay của riêng anh, chạy theo cơn mơ, chạy theo hạnh phúc ở nơi nào, có mỗi anh nơi này nâng niu những thơ ngây. Buồn vui ở trong anh, tự nhiên niềm đau lang thang hay trăng màng, anh giữ bao làn gió đang hát vô vơ. Mình bên tháng năm anh thầm đốt hay mình bên trước chưa một lần nói mình vẫn chẳng vương đây thì nhớ ai không mình thấy không thể dòng thế tròn dâu đang vui trong Vậy là mình đã tô xong một bàn đầy hoa quả Và đây là thành quả của chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh về một bàn hoa quả. Sẽ lấy màu đỏ tô vào quả dưa hấu. Quả dâu tây cũng tô màu đỏ. Quả táo mình cũng sẽ tô màu đỏ. Màu xanh nhạt vào lại. Màu cam và quả cam. Mình sẽ tô màu tím và quả nho. Lấy màu xanh này tô vào lá. Quả dưa hấu mình sẽ tô màu xanh này. Vậy là mình đã tô xong bức tranh một cô nàng đang cầm một phong thư. Và đây là thành quả của chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu cho bức tranh về hình ảnh một bé gái đang cầm một phong thư nhé. Đầu tiên mình sẽ tô màu tóc màu đen. Áo này sẽ tô màu hồng. Wow, cô đi. Wow. Vậy là mình đã tô xong bức tranh một cô nàng đang bấm điện thoại. Và đây là thành quả của chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta hãy cùng tô màu cho bức tranh về một cô gái rất là xinh đẹp đang cầm điện thoại nhé. Ta sẽ tô tóc màu nâu. Tô áo màu cam. đã tô xong bức tranh một cô nàng tóc ngắn rất là xinh đẹp và đây là thành quả của chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay mình sẽ tô màu cho cô nàng tóc ngắn nhé. Sẽ tô tóc màu nâu. Mình sẽ tô áo màu xanh ngọc. Vậy là mình đã tô xong bức tranh một chiếc túi gắn một chiếc nơ rất là to. Và đây là thành quả của chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta hãy cùng tô màu cho một chiếc túi xách có một chiếc nơ rất là to nhé. Tiên mình sẽ tô chiếc nơ màu đỏ son. Lấy màu xanh là cây đậm, tô vào đây. Vậy là mình đã tô xong bức tranh những đồ đi biển. Và đây là tình bạn của chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay mình sẽ tô những dụng cụ đi biển nhé. Sao biển mình sẽ tô màu cam.
sữa nha. Uống sữa nha. Trong tủ. Gì? Cho thế nào qua đấy? Hút đấy. Không cho được. Đấy rồi. Đi dọn em nha.
Hả?
Dọn em.
Mấy giờ?
Mà đi đâu? Mà đi đâu? Không, Viên đi xuống ngoại rồi. Viên đi xuống ngoại rồi. Hả? Cháu cua chưa về. Cháu cua chưa về. Đấy. Bỏ ra đây để ăn. Nào. Đây.เอาqua. Có đủ không cả? Có lửa nó cứ cả. Bỏ ra. Nào ăn không? Bỏ.
Hi, chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một loạt chú chó Noel. Hình xinh với màu đỏ. Câu vào mũ. chuông. Mình đâu về với tụi chó. Chân màu hồng. Lưỡi màu đỏ. Màu xanh và cây. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một chú chó đội mũ Noel và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một em bé mặc đồ khủng long. Tóc mình sẽ tô màu đen. Màu xanh này mình sẽ tô vào lòng. mình sẽ tô màu này. Mặt trời mình sẽ tô màu đỏ. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một em bé mặc bộ đồ khủng long. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú nhện đang giăng tơ. Mình sẽ lấy màu tím tô vào than. Đen và chân. là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một chú nhện đang răng tơ và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một đoạt chú báo. Mình sẽ lấy màu cam tô vào thân. Ngoài ra mình sẽ tô vào phần bụng. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một chú báo. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú mèo Hello Kitty nha. Sẽ tô chiếc kẹo ở trên đầu màu hồng. Mình sẽ lấy màu hồng này tô vào áo. Còn mình sẽ dùng màu xanh này. Mình sẽ lấy màu đỏ tô vào bên cạnh trên tay. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh chủ nhà Hello Kitty đang cầm 2 chiếc kẹo mút. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh Hello Kitty đi trượt patin. Cùng tiết những tông xanh. Màu hồng và chiếc răng. Màu đỏ. Đôi giày mình sẽ tô màu xanh đậm. Bao tay màu xanh đậm. Lần nữa mình cũng sẽ tô màu hồng. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh chú mèo Hello Kitty đang trượt băng. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo.